Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2018 Alberta Order of Excellence Investiture Ceremony.
Your Honor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to honor 8 remarkable Albertans. People do things for the greater good in different ways. Some build ideas, some build things, and some build people. Inspiration is precious. For those that have it, there's nothing they cannot do. Those who inspire others are equally precious because this glorious gift is given to only a few. Each Albertan we honor today is most assuredly in this category. You will soon learn how these 8 citizens have made an extraordinary difference in our world. They've dedicated their lives in service to their communities, in bringing people together, in lifting up spirits, and in bringing joy to our lives. Their combined accomplishments will never be diminished by the passage of time. May we be inspired by these leaders to learn how to care for our own communities, commit to lifelong learning, enrich the arts, be global citizens and agents for change, and continue to work towards a stronger, more positive future for all.
This is the happiest occasion. It's not a party. But today's proceedings involved a very public recognition of the lives and contributions of 8 persons who represent Alberta at its very finest. The Alberta Order of Excellence is an order, an old-fashioned term with an ancient history. You may have heard of the Order of the Bath, or the Order of the Garter, or other unique orders. The order consists of those persons who, since its inception in 1979, have been chosen for the province's very highest honor. It is not a one-time prize or an award. Those we recognize today will remain within the order throughout their lives. I know that my fellow council members share a deep pride in the order and its members. It's my privilege to work with these colleagues on the council, and I'd like to introduce them to you. They are Melissa Blake of Fort McMurray, Sharon Carey of Cochrane, Barry Finkelman of Medicine Hat, Colleen Pound of Calgary, and Rochelle Venn of Edmonton.
I am so inspired by the life stories of the people who are chosen to receive the Alberta Order of Excellence. In order to build success on any level, that you inspiring people, I have to say achieved, you really need to have the heart and the soul of a marathoner. You really do. You have proved consistently, you've poured the best of your energy and abilities into everything you do. And that resolve has allowed you to create lasting and meaningful results.
On behalf of the Council, I am pleased to recommend R.C. Reg Baskin for membership in the Alberta Order of Excellence. Confrontation is often thought of as the hallmark to collective bargaining. Reg Baskin, one of Alberta's foremost labor leaders, spent his entire career proving otherwise. Reg is known for working collaboratively through the negotiation process. At the same time, he never lost sight of the needs of the thousands of workers he represented. He believes that bargaining is about problem solving and building connections. There are 2 sides to every negotiation, and in Reg's opinion, both need to find a solution with which they will be satisfied. While early labor negotiations were often characterized by aggression and distrust, Reg's win-win approach was initially seen as a radical departure, and it has now become standard operating procedure. Early in his career, Reg was serving as the president of the local union in Saskatchewan. The union was the major supporter of Medicare, an issue so contentious that the province's doctors were on strike. Reg traveled the province to bring common sense to the debate, and in time, an agreement was successfully negotiated. The rest, as they say, is history. Medicare became a fixture in Saskatchewan and across the country, positively impacting millions of Canadians. In the early 1960s, Reg began working for the Oil and Chemical Atomic Works International Union, transferring to Edmonton in 1967. Over the next 3 decades, he organized numerous work sites and negotiated hundreds of collective agreements before retiring in 1998. He also served as president of the Alberta Federation of Labor between 1972 and 1978, where he worked to expand the roles of traditional unions. Reg felt that labor needed to be involved in aiding Native people, northern development, and social rights. And he worked diligently to advance 2 issues that would define his career: workplace safety and the environment. During his career, wages, benefits, and working conditions for Alberta's energy and petrochemical workers improved, while at the same time, the industry continued to thrive. While local strikes occurred over local issues, there was never a wider action under Reg's watch. This long period of labor peace is one of his proudest achievements. Now, Reg's favorite saying, "Let's make it easy and do it my way," probably helped. Virtually every aspect of Reg's life has involved community participation and social advocacy, positively impacting those around him. In addition to the hundreds of thousands of workers he represented, he's been deeply involved in the United Way for about 5 decades. He and his family have also launched the Baskin Family Fund, a charitable endeavor which sees his family provide annual donations to those in need. Throughout his career and in his personal life, Reg has been dedicated to improving the lives of others. And for this exceptional service, it is my honor on behalf of the Council to name R.C. Reg Baskin as a member of the Alberta Order of Excellence.
On behalf of the Council, I am pleased to recommend Rosella Bjornson for membership in the Alberta Order of Excellence. If I had to choose just one word to describe Rosella, it would be trailblazer. But thankfully, I have a few moments to elaborate. Captain Rosella Bjornson is the first female airline jet pilot in Canada. Her milestones also cross international borders, as she is the first female first officer on a twin-engine jet aircraft in North America. Through hard work, perseverance, and self-confidence, Rosella not only built a career, but carved a path for others to follow. Rosella's story begins on her family's farm near Champion, Alberta. Her father was an amateur pilot, and it's clear that the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Rosella was just a toddler when, from her father's lap, she put her hands upon the controls of an aircraft. From there, her fate was sealed. She would be a pilot, no matter the odds stacked against her. Any barriers she came across only served to sharpen her focus. Rosella decided that if she met or exceeded every potential employment requirement, an airline would be forced to hire her eventually. So she completed a degree from the University of Calgary and earned her commercial flying license during summer breaks. After graduation, she became a flight instructor in Manitoba, building valuable experience she thought commercial airlines would appreciate. And she was right. In 1973, Transair came calling. In April of that year, a history-setting flight saw her fly from Thompson to Winnipeg. From there, she spent more than 3 decades in the skies before retiring in 2004 with 18,000 flying hours under her pilot's cap. While these are incredible accomplishments, Rosella's achievements stretch well beyond her own time behind the controls. Not only did Rosella break into a male-dominated field, but she made it a better place for the women who followed in her footsteps. As a result of her own experience, which required her to take personal leave while pregnant with her children, she worked with Transport Canada to strengthen women's rights when flying as either a pilot or a passenger when pregnant. She remains active with 99's, Elevate Aviation, and the Canadian Women in Aviation's Conference to promote an aviation as a viable career choice for women. Rosella is an inductee into Canada's Aviation Hall of Fame, has been recognized by the Women in Aviation International Pioneer Hall of Fame, and has received a master's commendation from the Honorable Company of Air Pilots. In 2015, Rosella received what was perhaps her most impressive accolade of all, when Canada Post honored her with a commemorative stamp. I remember that. On top of it all, Rosella was able to balance full-time work with raising her 2 children. As the old cliche says, for Rosella, the sky was truly the limit. In recognition of her exceptional service, it is my honor, on behalf of the Council, to name Rosella Bjornson as a member of the Alberta Order of Excellence.
On behalf of the Council, I am pleased to recommend Wayne Chu for membership in the Alberta Order of Excellence. Well, I've had the great pleasure of knowing Wayne Chu for many years, and as such, I've had a front row seat to the remarkable contributions he has made to Calgarians and others across the province. Although he describes himself as a business guy, Wayne first came to Canada to complete a degree in mechanical engineering at the University of Manitoba. And after graduation, he returned home to Hong Kong, but Canada's pull was strong. He and his wife Eleanor moved to Calgary in the early 1980s. And several years later, he started Trico Homes, now one of Calgary's top home builders. Professionally, Wayne's impact has been felt in any number of Calgary neighborhoods. But to Wayne, business is much more than the bottom line. He's a strong believer in social enterprise. Wayne feels that the business and social sides of society have a symbiotic relationship, that business can positively impact important social causes and vice versa. And his actions reinforce this belief. Pushing his passion for social entrepreneurship onto a global stage, Wayne bid for the 2013 World Congress on Social Enterprise and succeeded in attracting over 1,000 delegates from 30 countries to Calgary. From a business perspective, Trico has placed a significant focus on building affordable housing as a core part of its operations. But Wayne and his business aren't shy to step into new territory when a need is evident. After the 2013 floods in southern Alberta, Trico formed a relationship with the Chiniki First Nation to restore 160 flooded homes. And it then used the proceeds from the project to support the community. In partnership with Chiniki, he is working on 2 major projects that will greatly enhance the community's self-sustainability. First, evolving the Chiniki Cultural Centre into a landmark event and tourist destination, and second, a renewable energy generation project. These are not initiatives Wayne had to embark on, but ones he's chosen to. Wayne has always been incredibly generous with his time and resources, and has made significant contributions to various organizations across Calgary. Education has been a major focus of his philanthropic activities, supporting Mount Royal University and establishing the Roderick H. Maw Center for Continuous Learning, SAIT's Trades and Technology Complex, and my personal favorite, the Chu School of Business at Bow Valley College. In order to formalize these kinds of contributions, Wayne and Eleanor started the Trico Charitable Foundation to further their ability to make positive social impact. The foundation has launched or contributed to various organizations focused on social enterprise. It has also partnered with Habitat for Humanity and the Government of Alberta to launch PEAK, a program which provides subsidies to first-time homeowners having difficulty saving for a down payment. Perhaps all of this shouldn't come as a surprise. After all, TRICO stands for Trust, Respect, Integrity, Community, and Opportunity. And these words do so much more than describe a home builder. They describe Wayne Chu to a T. In recognition of his exceptional service, it's my honor on behalf of the Council to name my friend Wayne Chu as a member of the Alberta Order of Excellence. Mr. Chair, on behalf of the Council, I am so pleased to recommend Katie Lang for membership in the Alberta Order of Excellence. Let me say that I recognize the irony in introducing someone who needs absolutely no introduction. Katie spent her childhood in Consort, Alberta, but she spent her adulthood performing across the globe as a renowned performing artist. Katie was a talented singer from an early age and was in her mid-20s when the world really took notice of her talent. After graduating from Red Deer College, she started to make Canadian headlines when she mixed her playfully punk attitude with Patsy Cline-inspired country music as the lead singer of Katie Lang and the Reclines.
I think I remember that.
A turning point in her career was in 1984 at the Edmonton Folk Music Festival, when she had to extend her 25-minute set by an additional 50 minutes when the headliner got lost. With her background in performing arts and a healthy dose of stage presence, she rose to the occasion and ended with a standing ovation. She was named Most Promising Female Vocalist in the 1985 Junos, after which she signed with a major record label and started to make inroads in the United States. After a stunning performance at the 1988 Calgary Olympics, Katie won the first of 4 Grammys for her 1989 album, Absolute Torch and Twang. Then in 1992, she released Ingenue and the single Constant Craving, which catapulted her career into another stratosphere. Suddenly, Katie found herself rubbing shoulders with Madonna and Cindy Crawford and Tony Bennett and Roy Orbison and Anne Murray and Elton John, just to name a few. Nice cover on Vanity Fair.
Yeah, it was a hard day at work.
Yeah. Well, it was a proud moment for all Canadians. I get tears in my eyes thinking of it. When Katie's mezzo-soprano voice electrified the world with her rendition of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah at the opening ceremony of the 2010 Olympics. But through it all, she has stayed true to who she was. And this approach was on full display when, at the peak of her fame, she conducted an interview with LGBTQ magazine Advocate and publicly came out as gay. While she had some trepidation of what such an announcement could do for her career, Katie felt that the potential social benefits of her actions would far outweigh any personal pitfalls. Essentially, she determined that providing the public with insight into LGBTQ culture was of more value than securing strong album sales. Katie has said she's lucky that she was comfortable and confident enough in who she was to share her story, but not so lucky as we are. The example that Katie set demonstrated the power of being true to oneself. Now, more than 25 years after that interview, Katie continues to do things her way. She continues to stand up for causes she believes in, like the protection of animals. She's also a supporter of, among other things, Calgary Public Library's Music Instrument Lending Library, which provides children with the opportunity to borrow instruments they otherwise wouldn't have access to. And in her spare time, she rides her motorcycle, right? And cheers relentlessly, you'll have to tell me this story, for the NBA's Portland Trailblazers. I do, yes. And music, of course, remains a large part of her life, and over the last 2 years, she's toured extensively, including across Canada, the United States, and Australia. We should all be thankful that KD continues to bless us with her voice, a voice that not only delivers a powerful melody, but continues to carry important messages. And in recognition of her exceptional service, it's my honor on behalf of the Council to name Katie Lang as a member of the Alberta Order of Excellence. Congratulations.
On behalf of the Council, I am pleased to recommend David Harold Mans for membership in the Alberta Order of Excellence. Making a positive impact in the lives of others is one of the noblest actions a person can take. Dr. David Mans has taken this to heart. He has made it his personal mission. He has dedicated his life to ensuring that people around the world have access to one of those basic necessities of life, safe drinking water. David is the inventor and champion of the Mans BioSand water filter. His work so far has resulted in the construction of over 2 million filters in almost every developing country worldwide and has provided millions of people with access to safe water. David Mans grew up on a farm in Saskatchewan as one of 8 children. Being allergic to everything, David knew his destiny was not in farming. He studied agricultural engineering and at 21 quickly became one of the world's leading experts in hydrology. Through travel with the University of Calgary's International Development Program in 1988, he traveled to South Africa and to the Philippines. It was during this visit he witnessed firsthand how those in poverty lacked sufficient access to safe water for drinking, for bathing, and for doing dishes. Those who know him know he is truly about people. Understanding the impact he could have on lives motivated David, and he was determined to find a way of providing clean water at the household level to those who need it most. He recognized that any solution would need to be affordable, delivered at the household level, with no special skills required. David knew that the solution needed to be simple, easy to learn, and replicate, consistent and effective. In 1993, David traveled to Nicaragua to test his filter in a real-world environment. Upon arrival, he locally sourced the filter's components and assembled them on site, something that would be critical to achieve eventual widespread adoption. The families used the water filters with ease, felt healthier, and shared their newfound clean water supply with their neighbors. The following year, David returned to Nicaragua to install 60 filters. And soon after, an outbreak of cholera devastated much of that region. However, the people David worked with were spared due to their access to safe drinking water. At that point, David shifted his focus from design to widespread implementation. As he did with the design itself, he took an innovative approach to distribution. David held that his patent allow for usage for humanitarian pursuits, making the design freely available for others to implement. David never wanted humanitarian initiatives to be impeded by commercial interests, an ethos that has been fundamental to his values. He left the university in 2000 to lead a publicly traded company and co-founded the Center for Affordable Water and Sanitation Technology, COST, a year later. The COST mission is to teach people how to obtain safe drinking water, sanitation, and hygiene into their own homes using simple, affordable technology. Today, the organization is the filter's main implementer, and the reason more than 6 million additional people are benefiting from safe water. David's work has had global reach, with the filter being supplied to communities in Chile, Costa Rica, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Indonesia, Zimbabwe, and elsewhere. David's approach focuses on treating people with respect. He was able to partner with many organizations and has often been recognized for his ability to remain neutral and impartial in conflicts of ideology, which has furthered his success in distribution. And David's enthusiasm hasn't waned. He is nearing completion of what he calls a cabin filter, a smaller version of the BioSand filter that will make household adoption even easier, with even greater potential benefits to northern Indigenous communities within Canada. David does not do anything halfway. whether it is his hobbies or continuing to teach at the University of Calgary about the impact of global warming and climate change. David's mission in life has had a profound and direct impact on those in need. And all the while, personal success and accolades were never among his priorities, which is why I am so pleased we have the opportunity to commend him this evening. In recognition of his exceptional service, it is my honor on behalf of the Council to name David Harold Manns as a member of the Alberta Order of Excellence.
Well, on behalf of the Council, I am so pleased to recommend Solomon J. Rollinger for membership in the Alberta Order of Excellence. Now, Honorary Lieutenant Colonel Saul Rollinger, and I've got that right this time, haven't I, Saul, is a petroleum engineer and a lawyer by trade. But in his spare time, if you can call it that, he's also a bridge builder. Not the bridge building that requires a hard hat and a tool belt, but the bridges into community, most notably through his efforts with the River Valley Alliance and the Phoenix Multi-Faith Society. In 2003, Saul was approached to serve as chair of the River Valley Alliance, which sought to create one of the largest metropolitan parks in the world. During his 9-year term, he led a collaborative process that engaged 7 capital region municipalities in creating a framework to enhance connectivity and accessibility to the River Valley Park. Now, collaborating with so many partners is no easy task, particularly when the issue at hand spans 18,000 acres and 88 kilometers of the North Saskatchewan River. Saul oversaw 3 specific initiatives. First, bringing the municipalities together to build the park and create a governance structure. Second, creating a blueprint for the River Valley Park. And third, engaging provincial and federal governments as funding partners and beginning work on that project. This work has left a permanent impression on Edmonton. The Alliance has created several Edmonton landmarks, including the downtown funicular and, yes, an actual bridge, the Terwilliger Pedestrian Bridge, which is the second longest stressed ribbon suspension bridge in the world. On a more symbolic level, the Phoenix Multi-Faith Society has made an equally impressive impact. The seeds for the society were planted during the fall of 2000. At the time, Saul was serving as president of the Beth Shalom Synagogue when it was firebombed on Halloween night. He brought a sense of calm to what was a really tense, tumultuous situation. He reached out to the leader in Edmonton's Muslim community, and with his help, the arsonist was located, paid the damages, and faced his charges. Now, this measured response, which built connections across faiths and cultures, was leaned on again a year later. In the wake of the September 11 attacks, a joint statement was drafted condemning the attacks and offering sympathy to the victims. The 2 communities announced a clear respect of each other's faith, traditions, and institutions, and they agreed to continue dialogue focused on mutual support and peace. These actions helped Edmonton become one of the only major cities in Canada to avoid post-9/11 backlash against the Muslim community. This dialogue was eventually extended to include the Edmonton Police Service and the city's Catholic community. Together, they formed the Phoenix Multi-Faith Society with the goal of fostering understanding and respect for all faiths. Saul remains as the group's honorary chair, and the organization has become a role model for all other cities seeking harmony. Now, Saul defines excellence as leaving a lasting impact on others. To this end, he has made significant contributions in education and healthcare, including to the Lieutenant Governor's Circle on mental health and addiction. His service to local organization is diverse and includes the University of Alberta's Board of Governors, Senate and Hospital Foundation, the Caritas Health Group, the Capital Health Authority, the Citadel Theatre, and TELUS World of Science, among others. Now, Saul views his faith as the driving force behind his dedication to making Edmonton a better community. His motto is Tikkun Olam, a Hebrew phrase that translates into repairing the world. It refers to a person's responsibility to improve the condition of society and the world in which we live. And Saul's efforts will make the city and province a much better place for generations to come. In recognition of his exceptional service, it is my honor, on behalf of the Council, to name Solomon J. Rollinger as member of the Alberta Order of Excellence.
On behalf of the Council, I am more than pleased to recommend Alan Wakowicz for membership into the Alberta Order of Excellence. A person would be particularly challenged to find someone who's made as widespread and well-balanced an impact on society as the Honorable Alan H. Wakowicz. Not only has Alan's career and volunteer endeavors touched every corner of the country, they have benefited organizations and communities of almost every composition. Alan spent his early years in the small town of Opal, Alberta. He had dreams of becoming a priest, but fortunately for us, life led the Polish prince down a different path. Through his career as a lawyer and a justice, he made a difference in the lives of thousands of Albertans and Canadians. Alan was admitted to the Alberta Bar in 1959, serving as a partner in his brother's law firm for 15 years. And this was one of the most fulfilling times of Alan's career, as he is able to directly assist people who found themselves in difficult situations. As is Alan's nature, in this role, he went above and beyond, supplementing his busy caseload with pro bono cases for those who could not afford legal assistance. In 1974, Alan made the move to the other side of the courtroom when he was appointed as the judge of the District Court of Alberta. At only 39 years old, he was the youngest judge appointed in about 3 decades, a clear sign that his skill and integrity were highly valued within the legal community. One of his most notable cases was overseeing the insolvency of the Canadian Commercial Bank, which was the first bank to go bankrupt in over 50 years. The case was historic and saw Alan give over 750 orders, 50 decisions over its 20-year span. By 2000, Alan was named Chief Justice, the administrative head of the court. His legal influence extended beyond Alberta's borders, as during his career, he was also appointed at various points as the Deputy Judge of the Yukon Territories, the Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. Alan's career accomplishments are incredible, but even more astonishing is that they are matched by his work in the community. Alan has always leaned on his faith and has played active roles within the St. Joseph's Basilica, the Catholic Social Services, Catholic Charities, Alberta Catholic Welfare Association. He has placed a high priority on education, which was carried on into his community endeavors. Alan has served as the Friends of the University of Alberta and the Chancellor of Concordia University. From an early age, Alan was involved in athletics, including baseball, hockey, and basketball. In fact, his first job was selling hot dogs and peanuts at Edmonton's Renfrew Park. He shifted his participation to off-field sporting activities by reffing local basketball games, chairing the James Bell Sport Foundation, serving as a member of the advisory board for the Commonwealth Games Foundation, and volunteering as an arbitrator for the Canadian Football League. He even started his own PGA, Polish Golf Association. You'd be hard-pressed, ladies and gentlemen, to find a sector of the province that Alan hasn't worked hard to improve in one fashion or another. And he continues to stay actively involved with many of these organizations. In recognition of this exceptional service, it is my honor, on behalf of the Council, to name Alan H. Wakowicz as a member of the Alberta Order of Excellence. Congratulations, well deserved.
On behalf of the Council, I am pleased to recommend Ralph Barclay Young for membership into the Alberta Order of Excellence. A footprint can be looked at two ways. It is something that exists in the here and now. We can see it, we can touch it, but it's also evidence of something from before our times, an imprint of something that used to be in this spot. Ralph Young is familiar with both. He has made his own marks in the city of Edmonton and the province of Alberta. And he has placed significant effort on preserving the province's past so it can be viewed and learned from in the future. Ralph started his career with Melton Real Estate, which became Melcor Developments and one of Western Canada's largest real estate developers. He spent his entire career with the organization in a variety of roles, including as president and CEO, prior to his retirement in 2012. Under his watch, the company not only grew in operations, but helped evolve its culture. Ralph helped develop and maintain the company's culture of learning and innovation. He encouraged the development of new ideas, nurturing and valuing ways to improve processes or make them more efficient. Ralph has a habit of leaving things better than he found it. The same can be said of his involvement with the University of Alberta. Ralph highly values education, which is why he earned his Master of Business Administration from the U of A before embarking on his career, and why he carved out so much time and energy for the institution later in life. Ralph served on many boards and committees at the university, including the Board of Governors, the Board of the Business Family Institute, and the Land Trust. His most recent role was as U of A's Chancellor. As part of this role, he was the chair of the U of A Senate, which includes 62 individuals, 40 from the broader community, and 22 from the university itself. As a skilled leader who values collaboration, this was a perfect fit. And his support for the U of A stretched well beyond governance. Ralph has always had a great personal interest in the history of Alberta, amassing a collection of history texts and documents. In order to ensure that these footprints of the province were protected for future generation, he, along with his wife Gay, launched the Prairie Roots Endowment, through which he donated 37 boxes of his personal collection to the university. In a similar vein, he helped raise funds to secure a collection of documents by Sam Steele, one of the first RCMP recruits for the University of Alberta. Thanks to Ralph's efforts and generosity, future generations will learn valuable lessons about steel's importance in building the Canadian Pacific Railway and keeping the peace in the Klondike Gold Rush. Ralph's efforts as chair of the Edmonton Centennial Celebration Committee and the Carillion Clock Tower Foundation also left an enduring mark on the city of Edmonton. His leadership resulting in the beautification of Sir Winston Churchill Square, a true landmark. Through these efforts and many others, Ralph has impacted the city and province in ways that will be felt for decades to come. In recognition of his exceptional service, it is my honor, on behalf of the Council, to name Ralph Barkley Young as a member of the Alberta Order of Excellence. Thanks, Ralph.
Thank you to all the council members. Congratulations again to these 8 very distinguished citizens who've now joined the ranks of the Alberta Order of Excellence.